Do you remember when going to Disney World and Disneyland was a grand time and the money was not taken from you hand over fist by the House of Mouse? Well, we do too. We remember when things were great. That's what we love about Disney parks. We'd like to bring it back. Today, we're talking with someone who was part of the original Dream Squad, even training those who are making dreams come true. We'll tell you what's changed at Disney parks and where the magic once was. Hello folks, and welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we are changing hearts and minds simply by telling the truth with a capital T, explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It is what we do. The only thing we ask of you is click that like button and let's dive into today's content with Alfred of Kindred Souls of Brooklyn, and I call you Al. Is that okay? You've been on before. I think we're close personal friends now.
We are, absolutely. That's what was on my Disney name tag, Al. Absolutely.
Well, Al, when you were wearing your Disney name tag, part of that time you were doing so, you were doing one of the jobs that everybody out there would have loved to have had, and you were on what was called the Dream Squad. Today, Al, we're looking at a Disney park situation where crowds are low and people are uninterested. Disney is really on a decline with their parks, and many are disinclined to enjoy even the new announcements because we're worried about what Disney will destroy. But back when you were on the Dream Squad, things were going great. Can you tell the audience out there a little bit about what the Dream Squad was and why, in your estimation, and mine as well, it was one of the greatest promotions ever in the history of Disney parks?
Yes, the Dream Squad was literally the greatest promotion ever. It actually started October 1st, 2006, and it ended December 31st, 2008. And essentially what Disney did, just picture why is an all-star game so great when you watch a baseball game? It's because you're taking the best and the brightest and the most magical people. So what Disney did was they took the most magical people from every division in Disney and they put them together with the pure, simple mindset of just making magic for the guests and the cast. We got to work with all kinds of organizations, but essentially they literally gave out 1 million prizes a year. And it was so popular, it was only supposed to be for 1 year, and they added an extra year onto it. So I was lucky enough to get on the Dream Squad and spend 16 months on it. I got on the Dream Squad basically in 2007, and I was on it till the end of Dream Squad, which pretty much ended technically December 31st, 08, but because of the Disney work week, we had 3 extra days. And it was so magnificent because we did magical moments. I mean, if you go to a Disney park today, there's no magical moments in the park. Since COVID, they have not done one magical moment. No more Sword in the Stone, no more Panning for Gold, no more bringing guests up to the Astro Orbiter to show them the fireworks, giving out the Castle Suite. These were all incredible things that we can do. And now that it's been so many years since we've done this, I think I could tell you how guests used to win the Castle Suite at the Magic Kingdom.
Well, hang tight, folks. We'll get to that. I just want to say, Al, that I was running this morning with someone and my running buddy, and he was telling me that he was watching a podcast that covers Disney parks, and the person in that podcast is a DVC holder and was talking about how dirty the rooms were when they got there, and they complained to the front desk. And folks, if you know who that is, please tell us in the comments who that podcaster was. They couldn't remember, and I'd like to give them a shout out. But Al, that's a steep decline from where we were once upon a time. When I'm assuming you were one of those wearing the giant Mickey gloves and waving and doing all that with the Dream Squad. Did you get to do that?
Yes, we did that during the night. The amazing thing about the Dream Squad was we had say we were all working as many days as we could. So let's just say you were working 6 days. Typically, you would work 3 days in the daytime. That was when the prizes were giving out. And my favorite was working at night, which is when we did the super greeting, which was just literally making dreams come true. Weddings in front of the castle, having people drive the monorail. And again, all these things were possible because we had people in our group that were from those divisions. So it was 1 or 2 phone calls and we could do it. It was just incredible.
And that was called the Year of a Million Dreams campaign, right?
Correct. The Year of a Million Dreams that actually went more than a year. It went 27 months.
Folks, as you can tell, I've been following Disney for a long time now. I instantly know. And then the next one, so when they re-upped it, did they say another Year of a Million Dreams? I don't remember, but there was some kind of little play on it.
Yes, they did. It was so popular that they just said, we're going to do it again. And they gave out there was a squad in California and a squad in Florida. So each park had its own Dream Squad. So I was on the Magic Kingdom Dream Squad. And it was just, to tell you how psyched I was for this thing. When they called me to do it, I had the interview. They were supposed to let you know like 3 weeks later. I had like the interview of my life, and they said, wait outside. We want to talk to you in a few minutes. And when I went back in, they said, listen, we really love you so much. We want to make you a trainer on it. What park? Which park do you want to work at? Tell us when you want to start. You're in. And I was like, 100% Magic Kingdom. I love everything else, but that's my baby. That's the Magic Kingdom. I had to do that.
So, Al, tell us what were some of the most memorable things that you got to do in terms of making magic for folks, and then tell the audience how it is that people could win the Castle Suite, which nowadays, unfortunately, either goes to celebrities or sits vacant. What do you think, Al?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, the most magical things that we did was we would do the sword and the stone. Essentially what would happen is each person in the Dream Squad, we would take a different land, and we were under the guest relations umbrella. So as you can see, I'm a chubby guy from Brooklyn, so being on guest relations was never really on my radar. So I was able to be on in guest relations. So we had basically carte blanche to do anything we wanted. And we stayed within parameters, of course. So we did the sword and the stone moment. We did the old Merlin show with the sword and the stone. We used to pan for gold in Frontierland. The best thing was too, we used to go up to, if you remember, when the fireworks go off, we actually shut down a lot of the rides. It's called, the rides go 10-7. Everything goes off. That's outdoor in certain areas. And we would bring a family up to the Astro Orbiter, and they'd have their personal viewing of the fireworks right there. Along with that, everybody in the Dream Squad was given a class. It was called Culture, Integrity, and Personality. And what that did was it enabled all of us to do autographs, character autographs. Now, we couldn't do them right in front of the guest. That wasn't allowed. But if you met a guest and they said, wow, I love collecting autographs, we didn't get Pluto on the trip, we would say something like, hey, you know what? I think he's behind the fence in the back. Let me go run back and do it. And we would do the autograph. We would come back. It's an art. And believe it or not, it's one of the terminable offenses at Disney. If you're a cast member and you do an autograph, you write an autograph and you're not allowed to do it, you get fired on the spot. So we were able to do things that not everybody was able to do. But the absolute best thing we got to do was giving out the Castle Suite. And what we came up with was, it was secret, but I can tell you now how you used to win it. The chief way we used to do it at Magic Kingdom was whatever guest sat on Cinderella's horse on the carousel. Now, if you remember, Cinderella it has a horse on there. It's the only horse with a ribbon on the tail. And whoever got to sit on that at 10 o'clock in the morning, we would come up to. Now, we would come up to them with characters, 4 or 5 Dream Squad personnel. And it got so to the point that we would start bringing Reedy Creek with us, because we would have literally guests fainting when we told them, congratulations, you're a winner in the year 2008, Year of a Million Dreams. You and 5 of your family get to spend the night in Cinderella's castle. And what that entailed was being a grand marshal at the parade. You got to stay in the park. It was just incredible.
Well, let me ask you
Uh,
this, Al. So at 10 a.m., if they sat on a particular horse
yes.
at the carousel, they okay. Did that ever get out on the internet? How did you guys keep that a secret that that was the way it was done?
A few of the things we had done gotten out. We used to do a lot of some things, like, for instance, on 71 is a big number at Magic Kingdom. So 1971 when it opened. So we used to go to, like I said, a Haunted Mansion, and the 71st Dune Buggy at 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever. That would be the one we would pick. So there was constantly this. Social media wasn't as crazy as it is today, then as it is today. But a few times it kind of got out. But the Cinderella's horse thing never got out. It's the only one. It's still there. It's the only one with a ribbon on the tail. That one never got out. So we kept that one going. And it was just great. And I think there was only 1 or 2 families that ever won it twice. And they really didn't even know how they won it. They were just too excited.
Well, okay. So talk to us then about the end of that campaign, because frankly, I think this should have been a mainstay. It should just be part of going to Disney World, is the idea that there are cast members there facilitating making magic happen. So this was extremely popular. Why did it end? Why didn't they just make it a fundamental part of the vacation experience?
Well, I think logistically it was very hard. They had planned it for 1 year. We had an outside organization making sure that everything we did, we gave out, if people remember, we gave out the Year of a Million Dreams mouse ears, we gave out pins, we gave out fast passes. So there was a third party, making sure that we were doing everything, legitimately. So it was a lot of work. It really was. And I guess it was, it had gotten to the point where maybe they were ready to do something else, but the something else never really came along. And they did continue a lot of the things that we were doing. I mean, super greeting isn't a new thing to Disney, but like I say, since COVID, they haven't done anything. It's just really, and if you go to the park today, there's nothing much going on. And what was so great
Exactly.
about
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
there's nothing going on. I mean, it's hard to believe. And what was funny too about this campaign was that not only did we do things for the guests, we did it for the casts as well. So, someone had a 50th anniversary. We would make something happen. Because we were from every division around Disney, if someone had to go home early, we would just jump in and check it out. A funny story that I get, and this is a really quick funny story that people ask me about the Dream Squad, and I say, "What is your lasting legacy of the Dream Squad? Did they ever?" I mean, all of us have gotten maybe 200 letters, and getting letters was part of the thing. We loved it, but one of the crazy things that I did was one day I got a phone call at the Dream Squad office, and they said that the person who was working baby care was going home early because their child didn't feel well and all that, and they needed somebody who was CPR trained. And because in my position that I was coming from, I was CPR trained. I said, okay, I'll go over and I'll do that. So the duty manager had called, and the duty manager said, well, I don't know if that's possible. Men don't work baby care. And I was like, what? Men don't work baby care? What is this? I'm a dad, I'm obviously past the background check. I'm in Disney. They said, we don't really do it. It's kind of, it's very traditional. And I was like, okay, well, I'm here if you need me. So I guess the duty manager called around, and there was no one to work baby care, because these are the old days when Disney used to stay open until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure you remember those days, Pro, right? Being there late.
Al, you're just reminding us all how much the magic is left. Continue on, sir.
Exactly. So after the duty manager called around and there was nobody available, I show up at baby care, and there's a woman in there, and she said, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm here to help you," because we wore these blue shirts and beige pants, which enabled us to really work anywhere in the park. She said, "Oh, no, you're not. Men don't work baby care." I said, "Well, I'm here to make magic for you. If you want to go home and help your kid, I'm here." So, okay, fine, do it. So here it is. I work in baby care. Maybe there was like two people who came in all night. We sold the pacifiers. Women came in. I guess the thing was women nursed behind the shades or whatever. That was the whole point of it. But hardly anybody was there. So after 2 hours, I closed it. I locked the key. And that's part of the Emporium. So I gave the keys to the manager in the Emporium. I walked away. About a week later, these two guys from the Emporium come running down the street as I'm walking down with we all had these satchels of like prizes and little things that we could give out. And he goes, "Oh, you're our hero. Men are in the rotation to work baby care now. You got us on the board." So I guess my legacy in Dream Squad, other than giving out the castle and stuff like that, is I'm literally the first man ever to work baby care, and it became part of the rotation now. And why do they want to
There
do
you
it? The men,
go.
honest, they love the air conditioner in there. That was the whole purpose. I was like, "You want to do it? Yeah, we love the air conditioner." So that's my legacy.
They love it even more in July and August. Al, were you guys allowed to? Did you have discretion when you saw a family and you were like, you know what, that family is going to get a reward? Did you have any kind of discretion there, or was
Yes.
it all set up to prevent that?
Yes, it was. What happened was that the exact prizes were set up to be given out at a certain time, but we were given complete power to make our own magic. So we had it in our pocket, in our bag. We had this huge satchel, and we had all these certificates in there and prizes, and we could give up to like $50, what they call no strings, and we could just give them, "Hey, you need a new pair of glasses," or, "Oh, I think it's your anniversary. Why don't you go buy ice cream over here?" So we were given a lot of things, and we all had radios which communicated to every division in Disney. So if they had mentioned something like, "Wow, I'd really love to just stand in front of the castle, when it's over, and just take a few photos, and and maybe have one of the characters come out to us," we could make that happen. We had the possibility of doing that, and everybody was on board with it. We had very little resistance from different people working in Disney. Everybody was compliant, and it was just a magnificent time. It was a different era in Disney, and I think they need to go back to this. I mean, shoot, I'd go back there and volunteer. I'm living in Sarasota, but I'd be on the next car ride back over to train again and work it again, because Epic Universe is going to open up. Well, Disney's losing ground. They need to pull this back to where it used to be to make people want to go back in Disney again. And in those days, there was no emptiness in September or whatever. It was just, there was a lot of stuff going on, and rides didn't break. It was a truly magical time in Disney because I absolutely love the
Al,
company.
I've got two more questions for you, and yes, I
Yes.
totally agree. And this is the Disney that we fight for every day. Folks say, "Well, you're negative about Disney World and Disneyland." And it's like, no, we're not. We're positive about what it was, and we want it to go back to being great. Al, favorite memory in terms of a family that you really touched, giving them a particular gift. What's something that was wonderful?
One of the things that I remember the most was I also worked in the flagship store as an assistant manager in Park, right on Fifth Avenue, and we had moved back to New York briefly. My son was going to school back there, and he wanted to go to school over there. So what happened was I had cross trained on monorail, and I had taken this family on the monorail. And back in the old golden days, when you could actually put a family in the front bubble of the monorail, that seems like a million years ago. I used to do something called the Al Tour, and I gave this family this wonderful tour, and the Bay Lake Tower was being built at that time, and we called it the BLT. And so, long story short, this family came into the store one day, and they said, "We remember you. We actually brought something to show you." And they actually had the video of me giving them the tour in the front bubble in my monorail costume, and it was just that was probably one of my greatest memories. That, and also just giving out the castle suite almost every day. It just that never got old, and seeing people faint. And probably along with that, what happened was when they won the castle suite, they would have 5 family members stay with them. So they would start making phone calls like crazy because we gave it out 10 in the morning and they could go in at 3. So what would happen is people would show up if you lived like, New York or New Jersey or like a 2-hour flight away. Other family members would show up like in pajamas, half shaved, just like, whatever, just to be able to stay in the castle suite. And what did they want to do more than almost anything was be able to stay there overnight and watch all the Disney cast members come in and paint Main Street and work and vacuum and all that. That was one of the keynotes of what they talked about and what they loved. So those are two of my favorite memories of many.
All right, last question for you, Al, before we wrap up. How many autographs did you learn, and can you still do for the
Well,
characters?
the thing with the autograph class is if I went back to Disney today, I've been out of there for a couple of years. If I went back today, I wouldn't be able to do it because once you get out of that role, you can't do it. But how many did I learn? We literally have
I'm thinking like 200, right? I mean, there's
yes,
a lot.
every Disney character. So it was like a 4-hour class, and it was basically on culture and obviously the integrity of the autograph. But it had to be 200 or more. I literally have the book. If I ever come on again, I'll just show you the book. Just that I have, and it was had to have been a couple of inches, and it was just some of them were very hard. I mean, I'm left-handed. I'm not the best at it. A little disclosure, we had a school teacher on our team with us. She was a prior school teacher, and I believe she still works at Disney. She actually is one of the people who writes the letters back if you write a letter to Disney. And she wasn't much for going out in the heat and things like that. We were just, crazy people going to do everything. But she was like, you know what? I have expert penmanship. I'll stay here and do the autographs, and I'll do all this kind of stuff. And you guys go out there and make the magic. And she made her own magic. So I could do Pluto and Grumpy and things like that. But as far as the princesses go, they were tough to do.
Well, the ones where the cast member is wearing a mask or giant gloves, those are way easier, and it's for a good reason. So,
Exactly. That's exactly right. Those are the ones that I was better at.
all right. Well, Al, you are doing a fantastic job, and this is your second time on the channel. I can't wait to have you back on again in the future. We were trying to get you on for the pro show. We're gonna work this out in the future to have you on live. But tell the folks out there about your channel and what you're doing on this great, big, beautiful web.
Yes, you can find us over at Kindred Souls in Brooklyn and Sarasota. We're always doing some interesting videos. Just did a great video on Mr. Tambourine Man. I recently found out a couple days ago that it was actually written and recorded for the first time in Sarasota by Bob Dylan. So videos like that. My wife and I go to restaurants. We do a lot of Disney videos. So pretty much anything. And of course, I'm from Brooklyn, so you got some Brooklyn videos in there, some good pizza videos. So we'd love to have you come over to Kindred Souls of Brooklyn. And it's not that big of a channel, so I usually answer pretty much every comment. So love to have you.
All right, fantastic, folks. It's now your turn. Don't be a passive viewer, but be an active listener by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And tell us, did you ever win one of those magical dreams during the year of a million dreams and the subsequent year that, as you know now, was unplanned? We'd love to hear from you some of those amazing memories. Let us know too, would you like for Disney to bring this back, and would it restore some of the magic that tragically seems gone? Folks, until the next time we have the honor and pleasure of spending time with you, thank you for inviting us into your day. We hope we added value, and keep learning, keep growing. Till the next time, keep having fun.
My brain is fried and I can't think of things to do to people, like Jonas or Culture. I mean, leaving them in this place of what's next is ideal and all, but other than going to an extreme that would rip them limb from limb or something, I got nothing. Jose, what do you think?
My name's Jose. We could reenact the chase scene with that Greg from Kocho Casino Royale.
Jose,
Right.
I think deep down, we really understand each other. Or not. I know. I need one of those White House translators like for Joe Biden. That'll help me with him. Perfect. Well, maybe you can get them on eBay or something.